everybody. This is Shawnee, and that's Shauna, and we are here to talk about the third day of the Stream of Many Eyes. How are you doing, Shauna? What'd you think?
I'm doing good. I'm wouldn't lie. I'm a little tired because man, it's like I felt I've put in 2 weeks of D&D in like 3 days, so it's a lot to take in. But it was a fun event, and I liked all the shows that were on there.
Yes, it was. Gosh, there's so much to talk about.
hmm
This was like a long day. I'm glad they put those breaks in between.
Yeah, the hour break. Yeah.
hmm Yeah, and because back to back, that's pretty rough,
hmm
And gosh, where do you even start? We should talk. I know I talked a little bit with Dylan about the new product. I just
Yeah, that
I just
was
wanted to hear your thoughts on the new product.
yeah. I thought it's a cool idea. Like I like that it's tied into the Dragon Heist. I know we talked about it being like Dragon Heist being like 1 to 5 and that being a starter thing. So it's nice that they have like a higher level. The level band on this one is is wild. Like it's 6 to 20,
Mm,
and there's like I think there 35 floors to the 35 levels
yeah,
to think. So it's a huge mega dungeon. That's exciting.
you know what's cool? We
hmm
we know people who wrote some of it.
Yeah, this is a it's like a lot of people from the DM's Guild and Adventures League and stuff were putting
Yeah,
it's a lot of cool people were put submissions in there.
yeah. It's Am I better now, Lisa? Yeah, Lisa Chen worked on the book.
Yes.
Can't wait to
Or
see.
23. 23
Can't
levels.
wait to see the Lisa Chen. I don't know. Maybe if she did her own level. Who knows? I can't wait to see. Because Lisa did that the bathhouse in that one adventure. Oh, okay. I will turn it up for your praise. Hey, Dubba, how you doing?
Hey.
Yeah, anybody in the chat? You got any questions or comments? Go ahead and throw them right in there. So did you have any other thoughts on the Mad Mage Dungeons of the Mad Mage?
Um Other than I'm looking forward to it, but they've actually done a decent job putting out the information, like all the little like D&D Beyond things that they've done have kind of like shed a lot of light on what that book is going to be. So excited.
hmm Um, all right. So today there was 4 shows. The first show was I keep getting mixed up with the name Adventure Impractical. Is that what it was called?
Adventure and Practical, yes.
Oh, Lisa says her level is just snakes. And then Dan Dillon, who also wrote stuff for the book, is in the chat
Yes.
as well. We got we're living such a great time. This weekend is like made me so happy about just
hmm
D&D and everything in general. It's really awesome. So okay, so it was Adventure Impractical, and basically it was uh Mission Impossible
hmm
D&D style, right? He had
Yep.
let's see, see if I can remember the players, but Matthew Lillard.
hmm
Gosh, who else was in it?
Taliesin
Um,
Jaffe, Sam Riegel, Ashley Johnson, and
mhm,
from the Adventure Zone. So
yeah,
yeah,
and they and Mark Hulmes, the DM, I really like him.
hmm
He timed it so well because he only had
hmm
90 minutes,
yeah,
and so he kind of cut stuff and would jump to scenes. So once they started, he jumped
hmm
right to a chase scene, which
hmm
is like like in media res, and it's something that not many people do. It's kind of
hmm
tricky to do it, but he did it and it was good, and he eliminated a lot of die rolls.
hmm
And you said he had used this thing where once they got into the party they had to infiltrate, they used these. He gave each of them a token, and they could play the
yeah,
token and use it to explain a flashback of why they have a certain item or whatever. And you said that
yeah,
was from a game, right?
yeah. It might not have been originally, but it's the thing I've seen it used most is Blades in the Dark, which is a part of the Apocalypse game. It focuses on like on heist, so there are like mechanics in there that um kind of like make heist not as chaotic. Like you don't spend the half an hour to kind of like plan the heist. You just kind of do the heist. And then what Mark Humes used was something like the flashbacks, where to spend like either in-game currency to kind of like, I thought of this, so like you don't feel like as like flat-footed when something bad happens, or you can kind of like improvise on the fly. So it speeds things up and it keeps it from being frustrating, like, or have things derail the heist. That will take time, and it definitely helped with this one because it kept everything kind of chugging, kept it going, and it fit within the time limit as well.
Hi, TK. Yes, we are talking Adventure Impractical. Um, Dubba, Sam had a shirt of Matt Mercer's face.
Yes.
So there's a part where when they're trying to smuggle, they had to steal these journals, and they had to smuggle them out, and they were in a box. So Sam used his flashback token to say he had a baby carriage. So at one point, to cover up how he's trying to pick the lock of it, he makes like he's like, because he was dressed, he was wearing a dress, so he made like he was breastfeeding, and he used the Matt Mercer shirt, and it was just like, it was it was funny, man. It was
Yeah, there's some fun. It's a good group they had up there.
yeah, and it was like, and like so. They chase the guy down, they got their invitation, and then you just jump right to they go in, and I thought that was smart because I think planning in D&D that can take a long time, and it might be boring to
Oh,
watch.
yeah. It always like falls apart too, like at a certain point. Like you plan so much and then just like, nope, it's over now.
Mhm,
Everything has to die.
mhm, yeah, and yeah, they got in there, and it was right out of the first Mission Impossible movie where they had to,
Hmm.
you couldn't touch the walls of the floor. And there's magic sensors, so basically you had to be lowered down, and you had to grab the thing. It was just it was awesome. 90 minutes. It was amazing. Like
Hmm.
uh, he he timed it perfectly, and like they ended with like 2 minutes to spare. It
Hmm.
was, it was it was really really cool.
Yeah.
And it was weird. He hand waved a lot of die rolls, but he did it
Hmm.
in a way where it didn't feel cheap. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like it was
Like
just like really yeah, it was
like
really good.
less important die rolls. You can kind of like, okay, we can let this one go, or this one can be like just, yeah,
Hmm.
it's gone through.
Ramrod says that the flashback tokens are a great idea. Can't wait to use that one. I agree.
It's a good, yeah.
That is a really cool idea. Yeah, I might try that on a show or something. So, all right. So that was. Do you want anything else you want to say about Adventure Impractical?
I think that's it. I think it was good. It was well timed, and there were some neat mechanics, and the party was super entertaining.
I think. I'm not sure how to pronounce his name. Is it Taliesin? Jaffe?
Taliesin,
Yep.
Jaffe, yeah.
I love him. That's just.
Hmm.
He's just. He. It's like every time he plays, he comes up with a unique character,
Hmm.
and and he's a voice actor. He does all these great voices, and it's just like it's just he's always fun. Like he's always like it's just like and you know what? Sam was freaking hilarious too.
Oh yeah, yeah. He's always.
Yeah, it was a great group. I really liked. I like
Hmm.
and today was like Tally Sean. um um today was like all four shows were freaking awesome. You know,
Yeah.
just like it was just like just getting hammered all day. And it's always I don't know why I like watching the viewer count and
Mm.
it topped out. It's interesting, right? It's Sunday, so
Yeah.
I would think it would peak at like 7 p.m. or something like that,
Hmm.
but didn't. It peaked at the very end, and it cracked 15,000 live
Yeah.
viewers right at the
Hmm.
end. It
For
was
the
like,
Jocks Machina
man,
game.
man, right? That was just like this is some
Yeah.
good stuff.
Especially for
So,
like a late show.
mhm. And so then after that was Dice Camera Action.
Yes.
You want to tell everybody what happened on that one?
They got the group was basically tasked by to make amends for the Zentarum. They kind of patching up a little bit, and then they got a mission basically from them to protect. Let me see, what's his name? the like the estranged son of the previous like Open Lord Rainier Neverember,
Hmm.
and that involved going to ChairCon, which was
Chair, chair con.
a chair convention of like the best artisanal chairs in Waterdeep, and
I love
there
chair con.
was a makeover like montage that happened, so everyone got dressed up, and they went to ChairCon. They met up and found Rainier Neverember,
Hmm.
and they ran into Magnus. Magnus Burnsides from the Adventure Zone was in there
Hmm.
with them, and the convention was crashed by just a bunch of monsters. The group managed to kind of keep the keep Rainier like safe, while basically like Evelyn and were like battle buddies and just like destroyed just a whole ton of monsters.
Hmm.
And then they found like a group of Zentarum that were trying to get after the after Renair, and then they were foiled, and they followed a masked man to a carriage,
Hmm.
and they kind of cornered him, and that's where the episode ended. That's basically the short of it.
And when it was ending, like as it was cutting out,
Hmm.
I think Travis is his name, right? Travis
Hmm.
McElroy. He asked, he's like, "Am I part of the show now?" And
Hmm.
everybody was like, "Yep." You know, like, but they were saying it like I got the impression he might be back on the next
He
episode.
could be back, yeah, because that
Mhm.
the McElroys are very very popular. Like they're
Mhm.
very funny, and like
Oh, he was
the
great.
Adventure Zone is wonderful.
He was great.
Mhm.
He's so quick, you know.
Yeah.
He's really fun. And the sword he had with the scorpion tail.
Yes, the sword. Yes.
Do you know the
Um.
whole story about that? Like what
um
he said it was
I
made by an 8-year-old.
Yeah, it's one of the items that he got from that's been in the show. He used a lot of like show items
Mm.
in the thing. He's about as high level as the crew, so
Oh, he is.
yeah, or maybe higher. I think I ended up higher.
Mm. He's cool,
But
man.
yeah.
He had a cool armor. You know,
Mhm.
he just he fit right in. He was awesome. You know.
Yes, yeah. I'd love to have him have him as a guest again if they can get it.
TK says she would. I'm sorry. TK says I would pay too much money to see Magnus as a semi-regular.
Yes.
He was too optimal for D. He was too
Oh yeah,
optimal.
he's
Well,
a
they started to infect him though, because a piano did land on him, I believe. Is that right?
yeah. Well, but he's a high level fighter. Nothing like he has like 131 hit points, and what did he do like 5 attacks in a round? Like
Hmm.
he action surged to like killing like 8 monsters
Hmm.
through your piano. He's very awesome.
Fairy, is that Renee? I could see Perkins making him scaled down in reasonable mishaps. I don't know. Chris is pretty. You know, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like he didn't. Magnus didn't break the game. That's how
Hmm.
I felt. You know, he got what he used his action surge and he got a total I think of 6 attacks. And I think he killed a goblin with every single attack. Is that what I think? That's pretty much what
He
happened.
killed a goblin. Yeah, he killed a bunch of goblins.
Hmm. Yeah, but really, fairy reen rhymes with scene. All right. My kindergarten teacher used to call me scene, and
Ah.
it traumatized me for a very long time. Um, he was awesome, and he fit
Yeah.
right in. And let's see. So in the beginning, they were at the yawning portal. You know what's funny is they took a lot of care to like yesterday on that like off the table live kind of
Hmm.
escape room thing. We saw Death at a table with a
Yes.
tiefling, and
Hmm.
that exact scene pretty much played out on the show. And it's
Hmm.
like the thought that went into this is like really it's awesome, you know, and they pulled it off. All these little things, you know. I mean, I just feel like
Yeah.
a lot of.
Speaking of things that were like kind of like fit in like that was the stone that they were tasked with like finding information from
Mhm.
was the stone that was in those off the table segments, and the one that was used in Dark and Dicey.
Mhm. Yeah.
So it's
Dan Dillon says they were set up against bugbears and goblins. It was pretty well set up for them to frog stomp it. Yeah,
mhm.
and it's fun. They're higher levels. So you throw 20 goblins at them and bugbears, and
Hmm.
And they did. They tore right through them. Like that thunder wave took out like 12 of them.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
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 And Lisa says sometimes it's nice when combat goes fast. Agreed. Like not every
Hmm.
fight has to be, you know. Some of them are like I like Indiana Jones style fights where it's just like wackiness and like there's a million Nazis, you know. Like
Hmm.
to me, the ultimate D&D combat to me is Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. That fight on the tanks, like
Yeah.
that's the fight I'm always trying to replicate whenever I run one. You know, and
Hmm.
I don't come close, but that's always to me like that's the fun ones, and those are low level. Well, they're not. I mean, in D&D terms,
Hmm.
it's kind of like those are minions, kind of, sort of, some of them. So,
Yeah.
uh, let's see. Barry Reen, think about it. Could see him working with it in ways that limits him, or at least presents challenges. Yeah, could be.
Hmm.
Uh, let's see. I love that he was awesome. The escape room. Yeah, the escape room. Dan says this was set up to be fast and fun, cinematic, and not a slog, and it worked perfectly. Yeah,
Hmm.
I agree.
Yeah.
Uh, the chair con was like. I would have liked to hear what more of the chairs were like. You know,
Yeah.
like he came up. I don't know if he came up with this on the spot, but it was like he described a chair
Oh God,
where
the
there
chair.
was designs of a tree with gems on it. And
Oh
even
yeah,
this like.
the Elven princess one.
Mm. And then I think
God,
on
there's.
the spot, Travis McElroy talked about the Sit Boy 5000,
Yep.
which can recline. I think Chris said there was buttons on it.
Yeah, and I think Paulton like sat in there for like a round or two, pressing the buttons, seeing what they did.
What did they do? I don't remember.
Maybe it's like reclined, did like like chair things.
They were just chair things.
Like there's those chairs with like remotes that they have like butt warmers and stuff like that on them.
Butt warmers. Yeah, I love ChairCon. Thought that was awesome.
It was good.
We should have
That's
like. It would have been cool if Animate Object if she did like a whole bunch of chairs. That would have been pretty
yeah.
cool.
Oh, the piano was really good though.
The
But yeah,
piano
we got
was devastating. Yeah.
we got to see Strix got dressed up. They got Strix dressed up in this episode.
Hmm. Yeah, it was kind of like, I mean, someday maybe we'll get the ball, right? So this was
Yeah.
kind of like a tease or like a kind of we kind of see we can feel out like Strix's reaction to this
Yeah.
stuff.
I mean, they're gonna apparently spend the rest of the season in Waterdeep, so I mean, there has to be like
Mm,
a bunch of social interaction
yeah,
scenes.
they'll probably have a heist or two,
Mm-hmm. Oh
probably,
no.
right? Right?
Yeah, they're going to. It's not going to go well.
They, in theory, they could. I mean, Death is a rogue. He's
Yeah.
good at sneaking.
Hmm.
Strix has got gaseous form.
Yeah.
Uh, Paul's got Dimension Door, and he's a bard. He can schmooze his way past everybody,
Yeah.
and Evelyn converts everybody to her religion.
Yes, she's done that twice. Yeah. I mean, it's the dynamic for the Waffle Crew and Waterdeep's interesting because it's like home turf for like three of the characters.
Hmm.
So like Diath already feels like more in charge than he has been in the like running around like Barovia or Chult. So that's interesting to kind of see.
Hmm.
And he actually used in that the off table. You could see him using like Thieves Cant, which was interesting. Like you see that that kind of side of Diath is cool.
Yeah, yeah. Thieves can't. Nobody uses Thieves can't. It feels like in D&D. It would be cool to see
Hmm.
them really like use it a lot and kind of develop it more. That would be pretty
Hmm.
cool. Ramrod says that maybe there's an underground black market chair con.
Oh,
What would an illegal chair be? I don't even know. Is that like a torture chair or something?
mm, couches.
Mimics, actually.
Mimics. Oh god, they're all mimics. All the chairs are mimics. It's just traps, just chair traps.
Imagine, yeah, if ChairCon got infiltrated by a mimic.
Oh no. I mean, who said it?
No.
I mean, it could have been. You will know that. Very
Uh,
mimics.
the makeover episode, Fairy Reen. Makeover episode. I would like to see a makeover skill challenge, where it's like a series of skill checks, and for the whole thing. But I think he described how she was dressed with she had a big collar, right?
Hmm.
And some kind of new hat, was it?
Yeah, like a fancy, like a different fancy hat
Mm,
and like feather. So it was kind of like a fancy version of like what she kind of wears.
Mhm.
What's
Um, and and Renair Neverwinter, Never Ember, right? He son of Daggle Neverember, right?
Mm-hmm.
He took a liking to Strix,
Yeah. Oh,
which is
yeah.
interesting. It wasn't quite the Maloon scene,
Mm-mm. Mm-hmm.
but it was I think he kissed her hand, right?
He like yeah.
And she freaked out.
Yep, of course, yeah. But
She's very she's got
yeah, you don't. Yeah, yeah,
there's nobody like Strix. I've never seen a character like Strix before. Yeah,
yeah.
it's funny. Um, Dan Dillon is looking forward to using Thieves Camp like Skyrim Thieves Guild marks, gang tags,
Mm.
and hobo signs. Are there hobo signs in Skyrim, or is that hobo signs in real life?
Like
I don't know.
I don't remember in Skyrim, but I remember like in real life. So like hobo signs. Hopefully, yeah. Hopefully that stuff's they elaborate more on that stuff in the
Oh,
books. That could be a cool thing.
he says real life. Yeah.
Mhm.
All I know about real life hobo signs is from Mad Men. There was a couple episodes I think
Oh
where
yeah, I remember that
it
one.
was yeah. I love that show. Uh, I watched it all the way through. People would tell me, I won't get into Mad Men, but I love that show. Um, let's see, Fairine chair traps. Yes, that would be awesome. Oh yeah, we do Waffle Talk every Tuesday, and it's on the D&D Twitch channel on Thursdays, right before Trapped in the Birdcage, around 7 p.m. Eastern. Um, let's see. So all right, so they infiltrated the place. They met Renair, and
Hmm.
they were chasing somebody. I don't remember what was it. Why did they need to meet Renair? Do you remember? I don't.
That he was gonna get kidnapped by the Xanathar's men to try and get information on like they thought that they had information on the stone,
Mm.
and
So
that's why they everyone wanted him.
in theory, this season the group will probably go to Skullport at some point, right?
Oh, God, they have to. They have to go into that. Yeah, it's just
Because
such a good setting.
that's where the Xanathar lives, right?
He lives, I think, underneath Skullport, but like that's where all the criminals. It's like criminal town. So,
And so Skullport is underneath Waterdeep. It's underground. Is it
mhm.
connected to Undermountain?
um, I don't think it is. It's not in. It might be like the Yawning Portal, or it has still Under Mountain, but I think it's separate. I think it's sort of like an offshoot of like a hidden cave. I think in off of Waterdeep's harbor. I think.
Mm. And I think yesterday, during one of the off the table segments, they found like an aquarium with a whole bunch of
Hmm.
fish in it that was like because Xanathar has his fish Silgar, and it's like his best friend because Xanathar's kind of crazy, and the fish period fish don't live that long,
Hmm.
and Xanathar would freak out if he found out that his fish died. So I guess his underlings are always switching out the fish for another fish.
Hmm.
So the fact that those fish got confiscated, I wonder if that means that's part of the adventure. Like if his fish dies, he's gonna freak out because there is no
Yeah,
backup fish.
or just
So
take out the
I
fish.
mean, one possible like scenario in an adventure might be where you have to sneak down there and replace the fish,
Oh yeah. Or conversely, start chaos and just get rid of the fish. Just get rid of him.
or make a noble. Well, polymorph only lasts an hour, right? But
Yeah.
polymorph yourself into a fish. There's
So
actually
guy.
when there was a adventure that came out, a promo adventure for Xanathar's Guide to Everything, was actually dealt with that fishbowl, which was really a fun adventure to
Yeah, I
read.
played in that one. That was a fun thing. That was
Yeah,
I hate that fish.
that's up on the DM's Guild actually. For it's just like a couple bucks. It's
Hmm.
called Underworld Speculation. It was good. It was really cool. Um, so yeah, so there was the that whole fish thing. So I guess Xanathar is going to kind of be the villain. From what I can see in the book in Dragon Heist, they
Hmm.
had said there was four villains, right?
Yes.
And so it was what probably Jarlaxle, right?
Charles was one of them. There are a
Xanathar.
pair of nobles.
Mm,
I forget their names. And there is a the head of Centaurum like had clones, and I think this might be one of the clones. So
Manchun.
Manchun, yeah.
Okay, so the noble couple, like, who are they? Do you know?
I don't know. They from what the video says, they're like they're like the political foil. If your party is political, those would be the enemies you would send it after.
Mm,
But yeah, they're well connected. They have like dark secrets like hidden and stuff like that. But I think as far as I know, I think they're new.
mhm.
Castellanters. Yes, Ramrod. Dude says Castellanters. Yeah, that's them.
That's what they're called.
Hmm.
Hmm. And like in that adventure, there's gonna be there's a submarine. I'm trying to figure out. Okay, so what do they need a submarine? Like, how does that play into the adventure?
Hmm.
The magic stone is in the city. Maybe some bad guys are gonna get it, and then to get it out of the city, they'll stick it in the submarine. Maybe.
Maybe. Or if you're sneaking onto Jaraxxul's like floating carnival, you might need that.
Oh, he has a floating carnival.
Yeah. They said that's why he's in the city, and that's how he's trying to like cover over his dealings is by bringing in like this giant like carnival on like 3 ships,
Mm, that's awesome.
which
So yeah,
sounds
maybe
amazing.
the submarine is gonna try to blow up the floating
Oh
carnival.
man.
That sounds really fun. That sounds like
Yeah.
a really awesome scenario.
Hmm.
Ramrod says the Castle Lanterns is a noble house of Waterdeep that made a pact with some evil entity. I wonder if they made a pact
That's
with devils.
yeah. That's
Hey, evil guacamole. Sometimes you need submarines because they're cool.
yes. Yes.
It's funny, D&D and technology, like uh, magic, you can use it to almost kind of replicate anything, you know? So it could
Hmm.
be a clockwork submarine or just some magic device that operates
Hmm.
similar to a submarine. And I don't know why, but actual technology really bugs me in D&D, but magic, like a magic submarine doesn't bug me, you know? Because, I mean,
Hmm.
D&D's fun and goofy. I don't know,
Yeah.
something about, I don't like getting sci-fi in my fantasy, you know what I mean? I like
Mm-hmm.
to try to keep them separate. Like,
Yeah.
one laser gun might be okay, but like I
Hmm.
don't want like a lot of, you know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
it actually did work once. My friend ran this campaign. We had grenades and stuff, and it actually was a lot of fun. But so I don't
Hmm.
know. But
I mean, grenades are not
yeah,
allowable.
or Shar,
Or Char, yeah.
a pact with Shar. That
Ooh,
would
yeah.
work out well.
Yeah.
Because evil Evelyn is linked to Shar. So if the
Hmm.
Castle Lanterns were linked to Shar, then that's you know.
Yeah.
I kind of wonder if Chris is going to use all four villains in some way.
Whew. Well, that'd be interesting. That'd be interesting too. I guess it's probably gonna go the way of like they'll figure out which he's probably gonna lay out a bunch of options. I guess they'll take one and that'll be the thing, kind of like
Mm-hmm.
right, kind of like the books.
Mm-hmm. And I just liked Warrington Munt at the ChairCon.
Yes.
He was just there
Oh,
on his own.
yeah.
He just happened to be a chair enthusiast. Well, you know what?
Seeing the sight.
A spell jamming helm is technically like a chair. It's a throne, a
Yeah.
magic throne. So maybe he was there looking for that or whatever.
If he wants rebuild a new spelljammer ship, look
Um,
for the most comfortable chair.
yeah. Um, Throughout the whole stream, I made clips on Twitch of the like
Hmm.
my just parts that I thought were funny on each episode. And one of my favorite clips was actually where the group's getting introduced, and somebody goes, and Morrington Munt's like, "This is the Waffle crew."
Yeah.
I don't know, just something. He said something like, he just the way he said it was so funny. It's
Yeah.
like, I know.
It's unfortunate or something like
Yeah.
that. Because I remember, yeah, the first episode, it's like, I forgot who it was. Was it? I think it might have been Anna who called it the Waffle Crew, and I think Chris made some point. It's like, oh, don't make that, don't let that stick. And it's like it's stuck. Like it's always the first
It
name.
did
Yeah,
immediately, like
yeah,
10 seconds later. That was the
yeah,
official name forever.
yep,
Let's see. Um, let's see. Gigs. Hey, Gigs, how are you? Chris will run things parallel to the books, but not exactly. Yeah,
yep.
totally agree. He probably will.
Hmm.
Lisa, Chris tweeted yesterday that Hallister has a Spelljammer ship.
Ooh.
Okay, well, okay. They had talked on the stream about the question is Hallister trapped in Undermountain,
Hmm.
and they've got all these portals that they're
Yeah.
sucking creatures in. to
Hmm.
Undermountain from other planes, which kind of suggests that he can't get out, but he's bringing things in.
Yeah.
So maybe he's got his Spelljammer ship ready, and once he can break out, he's going to use that ship for something or other.
Yeah. Or yeah, something that he just found there, because maybe like because there are definitely like outer planar, like there's a GIF on the cover of the thing, so everything's open.
There's a GIF on the cover of what?
The Mad Mage.
Really?
Mm?
There's a GIF on the cover?
Yep.
That is so cool.
Well, the like Mind Flayer and like the Lich Beholder.
Do you think that Warrington Munt is an official NPC in that book?
Um, maybe.
That would be awesome if that was true. Uh, let's see. Ramrod, does Heist support the use of one or more villain? Yes, they said on the stream that there's 4 villains, and the DM is supposed to pick one, and depending on which villain you pick, it occurs during a different season of the year. Like one's tied to summer, one to fall, one to winter. So I would imagine you could work in all 4 villains. I
Yeah,
mean,
if they're there for long enough.
you could run it like they're all trying to get that stone.
Mm-hmm.
What's interesting is we know what the MacGuffin. Well, we know what the MacGuffin looks like, and
Mm-hmm.
like because they actually had it as a prop yesterday.
Yeah.
It was like a big potato with 3 eyes,
Yeah, it was a creepy it's a creepy stone.
and apparently it was made by Daggle Never Ember,
Mm-hmm.
and it's according to Dark and Dicey, it can raise the dead from a graveyard, all of
Mm-hmm.
them within a few hours. So it's like an extremely powerful item, and it can
Yeah.
talk and stuff. So I'm kind of interested. Like it's called the Stone of Galore.
Mm-hmm.
I actually Googled Galore,
Mm-hmm.
not Galore. I mean
Hey. Oh, R.
Gollorr. Yeah, and I didn't find anything. So, but it could be some kind of obscure realms thing that I don't know about yet.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I'm very interested to see like what it actually does.
Mm-hmm.
And
Or see how if it's important to
mhm,
one branch or if it's going to be important to all branches.
mhm. And he's rolling. There's a lot of unique NPCs that he's rolling out, and I get the feeling that they're from the book. There was uh, there was that guy Odium with the blank
Mm-hmm.
face with the
Mm-hmm.
tattoos. There's other bad guys with like the tattoo with an eye. There's the little
Oh.
tiefling girl with the baseball beholder, which is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Probably my favorite one so far. And today there was a dwarf who had a stump for a hand with a crossbow on it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I'm not sure. He made a comment. He walked in and he's like, "All of Waterdeep is going to pay for their greed" or something along those lines. I guess
Yeah.
I guess he was going to attack the Waffle Crew, but
Waffle
Evelyn
Crew
Evelyn
or
immediately converted him to Lathander,
yeah.
which was awesome.
Yeah. It's like a little preview of like little NPCs that'll probably show up in the different like branches.
And what's interesting is like if they're not from the book, then it's like you can write them down and use them. You know?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
it's kind of like win-win. Like if Warrington Munt isn't in the book, you can just use,
Yeah.
we know the deal with Warrington Munt, so you can just work him right in.
Yeah, so I mean, imagine people like him enough, they'll put him in.
Yeah. Let's see. Gith. Yeah. Oh wait.
Oh, it was Gith. It was Gith, not
Oh.
GIF. It was
Oh.
Gith,
Okay.
like a
So
Gith.
there's a Gith Yankee or a Gith Zerai on the cover. Okay.
Yeah,
Not a
next to the.
GIF. Not a
No,
hip.
not a Hippo
Not
Man.
a
Hippo
hippo
Man's not
man.
on the cover.
Oh. That's cool. That like to me that what that means is that the Mind Flayers and the Gith play kind of a prominent role in the
Mhm.
dungeon. If they're on the cover, you would
Yeah, that
assume.
could be. I guess the theme of a couple levels maybe of the Undermountain maybe is the Mind Flayers and the Gith Yankee.
That's crazy because okay, so say there's a level with the Githyanki and there's a level
Mm-hmm.
with Mind Flayers.
Mm-hmm.
They'd be at war,
Mm-hmm.
and I would get it's I know I mean Rakma is the term for a war band that goes to hunt
Mm-hmm.
Mind Flayers, and in those cases sometimes Githzerai and Githyanki will actually work together.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's that faction, the Shazal Ku, who wants to reunify the races against the Mind Flayers. So maybe in the dungeon there's a level where both types of Gith are there, and maybe they're trying to get along to fight the mind flayers or something.
Hmm.
Oh god, the mind flayer level probably has like slaves and an elder brain.
Yeah, I mean, if you make good with the Git thing, you can get like shift spice
Uh,
on there.
Shift spice, which is from Planescape Torment, and it comes in it's like a spice container, and it's very valuable. And you put it on your food, and your food tastes, like whatever you imagine. It's amazing. Yeah. And it comes in like a salt shaker kind of a thing. Evil guacamole. Potatoes have eyes. It's true, but these are like eyes that blink. From what I mean, they're some freaking big eyes you got there. The covers look amazing. Agree, Gigs. The covers are freaking awesome.
Yeah.
Also funny how Jarlaxle looks like Chris or
Hmm.
Jeremy.
Hmm.
Maybe they modeled for it.
Hmm. Yeah.
Maybe Chris will do an episode of like Dice Camera Action with an eye patch and like the big hat that
Yeah.
Jarlaxle wears.
I mean, I imagine like Jurassic has to be in there at some point
Hmm.
in the show. So
Oh, Dapper Sasquatch. Hello. I almost
uh,
wonder if they're going more down to was it Dearth Urban to balance whatever weirdness is upcoming? I think Spelljammer may be. Ooh, really? You think Spelljammer might be close, and maybe Dark Sun in a couple years? It's hard to
mm,
tell where they are actually in book development. Like many of the outside people on this one were involved a year ago.
hmm
I think Chris said he's been working on these two books for
2 years.
years.
Yeah.
It's
I
amazing.
I think these two books are a good like blueprint if they wanted to go to another setting because
Hmm.
like the water the it seems like the Dragon Heist seems like a good source book, like a location source book and like campaign that's like modular
Hmm.
and gives you information and like there's an accompanying like you know big like high level dungeon so like it covers all its bases. If you're gonna do like a Planescape one, you could do like yeah a Sigil book and then like have a big adventure book
Hmm.
or things like that.
I wonder. It's always it's interesting. Like everything they do is working, right?
Hmm.
And it's just if someone had told me like they're not going to do source books, just going to do adventures, I would
Hmm.
have been like, is that going to work? But it's
Hmm.
work. Everything they're doing is working.
Yeah, the way they're doing this is kind of fits those both those things, so
I
it's a
mean,
good way to
do you
go.
remember in fourth,
Mm.
there's a hardcover book like every month,
There
and
were yeah, there were multiple DM's Guild. Dungeon Masters book. There were multiple like class books. So
mhm,
there's a ton of them. I
yeah,
remember.
and like within like 4 years they had burned through everything.
Hmm.
When they had in 4 years they had three players handbooks, and it was
Yeah.
just like I say this, I love fourth, but
Hmm.
that model didn't work, and I don't think it would work now either.
Yeah, it's too. It's like becomes too bloaty. I think after a while, like we put too many things out, and I think they've kind of kept the class bloat under control
Hmm.
and mostly focused on campaigns and like ways to make things interesting without having to like necessarily go we need a class book or we need this and this,
Hmm.
which is good. It's much easier to like take care of having to like not bring like 50 books to like a table
Hmm.
is helpful.
I think Mike Morales had said on Twitter the other day that he felt like he just cracked the code on fifth edition psionics. So maybe in a year or two we're gonna see
Hmm.
a final version of the psionics, which I know some people don't don't like them, but
Hmm.
for me, my second edition when I first started playing, the psionics handbook for second edition had come out, and we used that like crazy, and it was a
Yeah.
lot of fun. So I definitely look forward to that.
Yeah.
It's a whole different element of D&D that's like I don't know, to me it's like a lot of fun. People
Hmm.
like,
Yeah. I remember playing.
it's all kind of replicated by the 5e spells, but there's still a lot of cool stuff you can do.
Hmm.
Um, Gigs, more illithids are great. Deals with those pesky tier 3 and tier 4 barbarians nicely.
Oh.
Well, I ran Rakma, and boy, they tore through those mind flayers pretty bad. So I don't
Oh yeah.
know.
Press it.
Oh, what do we got? Oh, Maz, Millithids are always great. Agreed. I
Mhm.
wonder if in this book they're going to add some more Mind Flayer lore from like the Illithiad and all that stuff. Like those are my favorite. Like those Bruce Cordell Mind Flayer books. I like love those. There's so many cool things in there that they could turn to fifth. I would love to see like they have these like weird skin suits and stuff. All sorts of really cool stuff. I would love to see them put some of that in there.
Yeah, more.
Quintessence, the like mercury type
Hmm.
goo that you can coat a surface with, and time doesn't pass inside of it. So you could put yourself in a box and cover it in quintessence, and you're just trapped in stasis until somebody lets you out. It's very cool. Tons of cool ideas. Um, let's see. Illithids are great. Oh, we were talking about shift spice, and people start talking about flavor packets. Oh, and you're even
Oh,
gonna.
I mean, you know who it is. It's
Or Emira's gonna spend bits to talk about flavor packets. And everybody, just so you know, Shift Spice does not come in flavor packets because it's not like mustard or ketchup. It's a valuable thing, a special thing that I pulled out of Planescape Torment, and it only comes in like kind of really nice engraved containers, and every pinch is precious. So they're not going to put it in a packet and just give them out. Okay, doesn't work like that. Naz, Undermountain has portals to other planes.
yes,
Yes, it must have a lot of. I mean, every level has a portal. That's a lot of planes.
or just yeah, it's just like themed. It feels like anything could happen, and like you go down there. So
Mm. This is probably a Feywild,
ah,
Shadowfell,
mhm.
Far Realm,
It's like a
Limbo,
little taste of different, little everything in there.
Mechanus,
Mm.
the Modrons. There might be a whole Modron level, a whole
Ah, yes,
Modron dungeon. How cool would that
yes,
be?
yes. It'd be cool to have more Modrons.
And there's probably at least one Hell level. They could do 9. They could do one connected to each layer of Hell. And they could do
Mm-hmm.
some connected to different layers of the Abyss. Like I hope they kind of. I would like to see them create a few new things, like some new demon lords. You know,
Mm.
I just feel like, I mean, I love that they're taking old things and you know, kind of putting them out there and kind of collecting it all together. But I would like to see them make a couple new things here and there. Like just like I always like there's so many layers of the abyss, or at least take some of those demon lords that have just been mentioned
Mm-hmm.
and like a 2 sentence demon lord from a third edition book or whatever and flesh them out like those
Yeah.
Paizo issues of Dungeon and Dragon where they had the Demonomicon written by James Jacobs. Oh, those are so awesome. And he would throw in mentions of like really cool sounding demon lords that have never been
Mm-hmm.
expanded on. I would love to see somebody flesh some of those out in an official book.
Yeah. I mean, they still haven't put out a bunch of the really high like devils out there yet.
True.
So
Yeah.
like
Maybe
the
maybe
Lord, like the Hell Lords aren't even out there. Like the big ones aren't. Like they have a few of the lower ones, but not the big ones.
I wonder if maybe Moloch will be in this dungeon. I know because I know that the archdevils are for the most part trapped in hell.
Mm-hmm.
Moloch can leave, or maybe they'll take some other archdevil who was deposed. I always like the Hag Countess. I would like to see her get used more.
Mm.
She ruled Malbolge before Glazia, and Glazia turned her into like this big, just expanded her so she's just skin and bones that covers her whole realm. Which is really gross. I would like to see somebody like reform her and have her out there again because like there's a lot of cool hag stuff out there. I'd love to see like a real big hag centric something or other.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Yeah.
there's probably hags in the dungeon, right? The
Mm-hmm.
the Feywild level
There's
probably.
got to be. There's got to be hags in the dungeon.
It'd be cool if a portal connected to Baba Yaga's hut. That would be cool.
Mm.
Yeah. Uh,
Hag covens.
Dapper Sasquatch with Maztica and much more to dig up. Curse Strahd, I thought was one of their better selling, but as far as I can tell, Curse Strahd is mega, mega popular still.
Oh yeah, I
So
think that's the one I've heard that it's popular, and it's also the one that I've heard most people actually finish. Strahd, that's always the one.
true.
So I
Yeah.
so I guess if they're taking elements from Strahd and putting in these two campaigns, I guess it's better because
Yeah.
that was one I finished.
It's shorter. Yeah.
Hmm.
Giggs says all the books that trails that lead off to things that are left up to the DM. And I'd expect those portals, if they're in the book, to be similar. Yeah, they did say that they made the dungeons like they left a spot where the DM could add stuff if they wanted to,
Hmm.
which is pretty good. Gig says started a group recently to run through Curse of Strahd again. You've run it 3 times.
Nice.
See, it's a very popular adventure.
Yeah. I mean, it depends on where the placement of like the way the deck goes can really change things.
Hmm. Yeah,
Because yeah.
the deck. Yeah. Dapper says the Amber Temple is like a whole thing. You know, that could
Hmm.
be an entire. You could pull that out and use that in your campaign, and it could
Hmm.
be like a big thing. The Amber Temple's really cool. Dapper Sasquatch can use the 4E. Oh, yeah, use the 4E Dark Sun books and the 2E box set and convert it to 5th. Yep, it's the balance with the fiddly bits I hate and why I'd rather have
Hmm.
some official stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
agreed. Yeah, it would be hard to convert Dark Sun because it's so psionics heavy
Yeah.
to 5th without. Yeah.
Or there's exclusion of a bunch of magic in there. Like magic has to change a ton for Dark Sun.
Mhm. Ramrod, you have
What?
packets.
Oh
You
no!
have
You
packets. You
you just
don't.
you
You don't.
you're just gonna get him. You're just gonna get Ramrod killed. You're gonna get Ramrod killed.
Ramrod, you would have to make your own packets, and I don't think that you have the means to do that. I mean, how do you make a sealed packet in D&D? I don't think it's possible. So don't know. Maz clearly likes Modrons.
Yes, Motrons.
Modrons are freaking awesome, and
Yes, they are.
I would love to see because they statted out the lower level Modrons in the monster manual, but I don't think they've made the higher level ones, which are really bizarre.
Oh yeah, there's a.
But that's some of my favorite Tony DiTerlizzi art is some of the higher level Modrons. Like, it's just really freaky and cool, you know?
Mhm.
Not in like, I don't know. DiTerlizzi's awesome.
Yes,
Modron
yes.
Dungeon. We'll be watching Cube again. Cube, alright.
Ooh.
Maz, I would like a Modron. Ew, a Modron Illithid hybrid.
Oh no. Oh.
How could you? They're so pure.
Oh.
Don't, like, a Modron dying is sad to me,
Yeah.
you know?
Oh. Merciful DM says, "Yep, that's just a Dalek," and yep,
That's
just.
Dalek. Is that what it is?
Uh,
Okay. How far am I? Okay, I'm almost caught up.
you almost got yeah.
Gig. So we were talking about flavor packets. Let's talk about the rest of the stream. Thank
Yeah.
you, Lisa, and thank you anybody who stayed. Thank you very
Yes,
much.
thank you very much. Thanks for.
Okay, so what was the third? The fourth show was the Mike Merle show. The third one was the Deborah Ann
And
Wall
well, the
show.
Witch of
Yeah.
Barcraft session.
Hi, Maz. Thank you, Maz. And thank you, Gigs. Go ahead. Can you give a summary of what happened on that show?
Actually, what I kind of had to skip on that one for a little bit.
Oh,
I'm not
okay.
too.
All right, I'll do it, and you add in anything I miss. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. So Deborah Ann Wall is from the Daredevil Netflix show, and from what I understand, she runs D&D games like every week, and she's been doing it for years. So like, she's awesome. And her group was Matt Mercer, Marisha Ray. Then there was a couple, I think Julia Dennis,
Hmm.
and I'm not sure if I remember the guy's name, and
Tommy Walker.
Tommy Walker, and Kate Welch, and Dapper Sasquatch. Hello, thank you very much. Um, thank you for sticking around. Um, so what happened? A little girl got pulled into the woods. There had
Hmm.
been a fire in the woods, and her parents had died, and she kept going back into the woods to kind of investigate. And after her parents had died, these two sisters had been taking care of her. So, in Force Gray, Devons, isn't she in Force Gray? Kate
Hmm.
Welch, yes.
Or not
See,
Kate Welch. Deborah Ann Wall is
oh,
Jim
Deborah Ann Wall, right?
Maleta
Yeah,
is.
yeah. She's great. She's awesome. So,
Mhm.
the group got hired. Basically, this one really wasn't that linked to the story, was it?
No, no,
Okay.
not at all. Yeah.
So the group was tasked with going to rescue this girl. So they go out into the woods, and this is like a puzzle adventure. And the group was just, I think I think if you do a puzzle adventure on stream, that's tricky because
It's yeah.
they're going over like a little piece of paper.
Hmm.
It's like if they can, I think it would be best to like try to put something on the screen so that the person watching can kind of follow along and try to figure it out on their own.
Yeah. Yeah, I think doing puzzles
Mm,
while being streamed is kind of tough because there's definitely the pressure when you get stuck is you feel like okay we have to go. It's like we still don't know what this puzzle's doing,
mm,
and that can be hard.
yeah. That said, it was a really great show, and the group was
Hmm.
freaking hilarious from start to finish. And Matt Mercer's character, I believe, was a hairless tabaxi.
Yes, hairless tabaxi,
Which is
like
a
those Sphinx cats.
which
It's
is
very cute.
a really funny idea. And so they had a lot of trouble with all the puzzles, getting through the woods. Um, they had, and then they went into a building that had runes on the wall and a giant rune on the ground. And I don't think they ever figured it out. They just left, and they found the bad guys' lair, and so they go inside. And it's a cave, and there's cages, and a lot of people are dead. Hey Dan, thank you very much for sticking around. And Devins, you too. Thank you very much. Um, so there's two cages. And you know what's funny?
Hmm.
I don't think she ever mentioned. She said most of the cages had like skeletons or whatever, but there was two
Hmm.
cages with people in them. One
Yeah,
was the girl who was awake. I don't know if she ever said who was still sleeping in the other cage or whatever. Did she say? Do you remember?
I don't think so. Yeah, they just said the one wasn't moving, the other was awake,
Yeah.
and it's just they got what they wanted and kind
So
of
they go
skipped
in
out.
there, right? They see the girl in the cage, and they're like, "Oh, that's the girl, right?" And then
Hmm.
it turns out this is the cave of a green dragon. So like it was behind the waterfall. So the green
Hmm.
dragon pops its head through the waterfall and comes in. The group hides real quick, and the green dragon
Hmm.
kind of plops on its treasure and goes to sleep.
Hmm.
And they were almost at a time at this point, so Matt Mercer just charged it. And I think he rolled a critical.
They rolled really well
Hmm
for that encounter,
And they
considering.
freed the girl. And during that, I think a lot of people in the chat
Huh.
slowly realized what was going on here. Was
Yeah.
that because the Green Dragon said a few things during the attack, like
This
"Don't
isn't the
free
right.
her, she's dangerous," don't free her.
It
And
was warning. It was warning like don't do this. Don't take. Yeah.
mhm, yeah, and but so basically they pounded on the dragon and they grabbed the girl and they ran
Hmm.
and they brought her back. And it turns out the girl was about to turn 13.
Hmm.
So that night, she and the two sisters who had been raising her
Yeah.
transformed into hags, a hag coven.
Yeah. I think Matt figured it out like right when they said there was 13th birthday. He's like, oh no.
Yeah.
It's like you see you have three people living in the forest. Like hag coven sort of thing starts happening.
And I thought the whole thing that one was really awesome.
Oh, it was fun.
Yeah. It was like everything was the group was awesome. They were really funny.
Hmm.
And yeah, just all the way around, it was just like Marie Charest like freaking cracks me up. The
Yeah.
voices she does and the stuff, she's really funny. And they were all like tremendous. Um, I feel like cer- if they can, they got to get Deborah Ann Wall to do like some kind of a show.
Hmm.
You know, if they can. I mean, if she's already running games every week, can
Hmm. Always the guest scheduling
it's like
is
put a camera in there. You know what I mean?
yeah. Hmm.
That'd be so because she's so freaking awesome. Yeah,
Hmm.
and different. Like not a lot of people do puzzles,
Yeah.
and she made all.
Puzzles are yeah, I think can be like one of those make or break. Either you don't put them in or you kind of put them in and have to like
Mhm.
it's a lot of pressure, I think.
Yeah, she
And
put a
did well.
ton of work into it. She's working
Hmm.
off of paper,
Hmm.
and she had made handouts, and then
Yeah.
the idea was awesome. The idea at the
Hmm.
end was like it was just like it was a great it was like a really great show. The whole
Like,
day was
yeah.
just like boom, 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 boom. It was just like
Hmm.
four awesome shows. So after that one was the final show, the Jocks Machina show.
Yes. Oh,
Uh,
the
do you have any other thoughts on the Witches show?
not really. Other than yeah, it was good to kind of like keep the thing going. It was another thing of like having puzzles in there, but realizing like when to like move on and when to kind of like help the players and stuff like that. It was interesting. It was a good, yeah. It was a really fun session to watch.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Gigs. I'll see you later. Thanks for sticking
Yeah,
around. I really
thanks. Thank
appreciate
you.
it. Yeah, Jock Smacking was
It
amazing.
was so good. It was so good.
Dan's saying it's amazing, and it really was. Like
Mhm.
the thing about that game was, um, how do I put this? It's like it has like that badass quality that I like, where
Mhm.
the adventure was about heroes like freaking in the Shadowfell defending like a tower of light against like a
Yeah.
horde of dragons. You know, it's just
Yeah.
like this is freaking awesome.
It's
Just
just
like
like
a
level,
hardcore.
just hard level 18, like
Uh,
just beefy characters, just hitting things. It was great.
and so this show, and this was really cool because they got um Travis Willingham, I think his name is Grog. He
Yes.
played Grog from Critical
Mhm.
Role. This was like the return of Grog, right?
Yep.
And he had the
Yeah.
sword of Kaz, I believe,
Mhm.
and Archon, who on the final episode of Critical Role got the hand of Vecna, right?
Yeah, like the last big fight, he just like pieced out. He fought back then, just like pieced out with the hand.
Hmm.
And I think there's video. I don't know where it is, but they videotaped his rolls for the boons on there, and he rolled like 80, 90 or something like that. He rolled high numbers. Like I think he rolled 100, I think, for the major boon. So like that thing was, I think it's powerful.
Amazing. Oh, I don't have the name of the third player. Do you have
Which
that?
one?
It was the is he played Bieber, MJ,
Oh, Ron Matthews.
Ron Matthews, who I believe is a CrossFit champion.
Mm-hmm.
CrossFit's like freaking hardcore, man.
CrossFit. Intense.
And then the fourth guy was the Big Show, the pro wrestler, who's like really big,
They're all really big.
and he was hilarious. And he played a giant, a
Mm.
half giant, was it?
I think it was, yeah, half giant. I think so.
Ulak, the half giant.
From he was dark from Athos, right? I think.
Is that where he was from?
I think yeah. They said he was because like where are you gonna go home to? Home is bad.
Mhm. Oh, Dapper is saying that he's a trainer for movie stars. He trained Hugh Jackman to stay in shape. Dang. Okay, that's
What's it?
epic. Yeah, he was okay. Dancing. Yeah, he's a half giant from Athos. That's
Yeah, it's
awesome.
like yeah, it's like every time they did that like bird's eye view shot, like they just look that group just looked massive. Like, I know, like especially like Mike saying that Mike's not a small guy, and it's just like they're just so big.
Hmm. And this one was and this one was very simple. They just got drawn to the Shadowfell, and they were tasked with protecting this tower from because the barrier between the negative energy plane and the
Hmm.
Shadowfell was thin, and there was creatures about to come through, and their
Hmm.
job was to stop it. And so there was a point. There's shadow dragons with death knights riding them,
Hmm.
which is awesome.
Yeah,
And all three dragons breathed on the party. Three.
yeah,
The heroes were 18th level, and they actually
yeah,
all survived that.
yeah. I was like, those were some intense numbers that they threw as far as damage. It's like,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah. And the heroes actually were able to. I think there was a Skull Lord, right, with the three skulls. I think that's what they're
hmm,
called.
I think so.
And they
So,
destroyed that, and they defended. And then I think energy swirled around, right, and turned
hmm,
into this entity. It was just like a Vecna type, like,
yeah, like a vestige or something like that.
and they repelled that as well, right?
Yeah, I think he like stomped it until it went away.
Mm, yeah.
Or
So that was freaking awesome, and
it's yeah, it's good to see like yeah, like what high level play looks like. I don't think I've ever gotten to that like that like tier of like the super epic. Like I've only seen that play, and it's nuts.
mhm. Yeah, this was hilarious. It was really like
It was fun.
it was cool to see Archon and Grog and
Hmm.
the Big Show
Hmm.
all in this. I mean, that's it's like surreal, you know?
It's it was fun because like it's funny seeing like Grog like being like oddly enough like the smaller funny guy in the group rather than being like the muscle.
Hmm.
It's just really funny.
And in the clips that I think Show is responsible for most of the funny stuff that happened, I believe,
Hmm.
on that show. He
Yeah.
said something about the dice look small in your hand, you know, and there was something about unicorns eating, you know,
Yeah, I think one of
whatever.
them like had there's like the other running joke of like, oh, well, it tastes good, unicorn.
Dapper says it was a Nightwalker stat block from Tome of
Hmm.
Foes. That's what
Oh.
that thing was at the end, the Nightwalker.
Hmm.
That's
I guess
awesome.
so.
Um, yeah, the show was awesome. So the whole way through, it's just like awesome. Day three was like awesome, and the audience just like built. And
Yeah.
during
I think
Jock smacking it was like
yeah, I
15,000.
think that was a peak. It was like 15,000 at like, and it was a late. That was a late session too. So.
Yeah, and it was just like what a awesome way to end the stream. It was interesting. Day two, they did a cohesive story, all linked to the books, and then
Hmm.
day four was just kind of a mix of stuff, you know, and
Hmm.
it worked. I was thinking Mike Merle's last year he did a tower adventure as well. That'd
Hmm.
be cool if he made like a whole bunch of tower adventures and all these towers were linked somehow into one bigger story. I think
Yeah.
that would be pretty cool.
I think yeah, this was definitely like they tried something new. They tried like doing a link thing. I think it worked. I think they could. It's definitely the way how this worked. Definitely, they could do even more like link next, and it would probably still work.
Mhm. Do you know? Does anybody know if Dice Camera Action is going to be on this Tuesday? Or are they going to take a
No,
break?
they're taking a break because of I think a bunch of the cast has to do like E3 stuff. That E3 is next week.
Oh, okay. All right,
So
so there's no Dice Camera Action next week.
we've had no dice camera action for 2 weeks, but condensed it to one weekend. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So yeah, that's the stream of many eyes. I just wanted to come back and wrap it up real quick, and I thank you everybody who stuck
yes,
around.
thanks.
I really appreciate it. Shawnee, you got any plugs you want to plug?
Yeah, I'm on Waffle Talk, not this week, but next, and I'm on your Power Score RPG every other week, going through some DM skill adventures for high level, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that should be fun doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm on Star Wars game on Rise of the Dark Side on Encounter RP on Wednesdays at 7, and working on a secret project that there will be news on Twitter this week. So looking forward to actually talking about that. So keep an eye out.
Nice. Oh my God. All right. I am starting a new show on the Greyhawk channel this Thursday from 1 to 4 p.m. Eastern. I'm doing a show called The Secrets of Castle Greyhawk, where I took all the original notes on the Gary Gygax Castle Greyhawk, and I'm trying to make a version that's somewhat faithful to it without all the empty rooms and just kind of pointless battles. I'm kind of I'm trying to challenge myself to make a mega dungeon that and it's funny because I'm sitting here thinking about this mega dungeon, and now there's a mega dungeon adventure coming out in a few months that's kind of probably did what I'm going to try to do. So it's kind of like, oh boy. But so yeah, we're going to start that this Thursday. And this weekend, one of the groups will be going through DM's Guild Adventure, and then Sunday we'll have Dungeon Academy. So yeah, we got a ton of stuff. And the RPGN show next Sunday is going to have all these clips from the Stream of Many Eyes. And that's on the WebDM Twitch channel. That'll be 2 p.m. Eastern, and that's going to be a freaking awesome episode of RPGN. So if there was shows you missed on the Stream of Many Eyes, it'll be a nice way to see some of the coolest parts, just like tiny, like 1 minute clips. But you'll get to see some of the best parts, and I just think it's going to be a great show. So thank you everybody very much for watching,
Yes. Oh, thank
and
you.
we'll see you all later on. Goodbye.
Yes. Good night.